Grand Rising, everyone. Is Shay Seeking or Shalonda? And yeah, I didn't get much rest last night. This video is going to be a little bit different. I guess than some of the other videos that I've made. And it's just like wanting to look at things from a different perspective and again, leave out all of the titles of things that I feel may be the reason why things are so backwards as far as, you know, not looking at it through the eyes of a construct or religion or any type of science or anything for that matter. This is raw, random, I don't know, a form of a realization. When it comes to, excuse me, the so-called world and the way things are and where we think we're heading. And, I just had to go back. I said, this book been here for a very long time. And, I have a version of the Living Bible where Genesis 1 starts off something, maybe not exact, but something along the lines of, when God began to create the heavens and the earth was first, in a sense of chaotic mass. And that, I think that will forever kind of stick with me, because if we go and look now, the condition of the earth, meaning, well, the surface, the so-called surface or plane that we're living on. And then if you go a little bit deeper, then you go to the nature of that, which again, when you look at the nature of the woman, it kind of mimics nature. Or, when you look at anyone, but again, the woman gives birth just like the soil and the earth, like I'm saying, gives birth. And again, birth isn't always through vaginal canal. It can be a canal of a ship or boat. Both are delivered by docks through water. And obviously, both ways of birth are something that is inevitable, I guess. But I was thinking about that, and I'm thinking about the current condition and, the treatment of, again, just children. We'll just go to children first, animals, women, and then, of men. They're all being affected, but we can't seem to put our heads together and see. And it made me think about, the divine feminine, the shift that again has occurred in everyone. But when we look at the women that have been put down the most, and we'll just use women of color for layman's terms, no matter where it is in this so-called world. And we look at the condition of women due to religion, science, men, other women, principalities and rulers, things like this, and their conduct or their ways towards women or feminine energy in general. How they like to subdue and replenish and till and mine the earth. And I started thinking too about the whole way of like, lately it's just been on my mind that if you want to heal the earth, you have to start with her children. And yes, that's speaking of, earthly beings. But again, I guess all of everything that is living or not on this plane is her child, a creation, again, when it comes to nature. So that lets you know that a form of earth was already there prior to any type of interference, colonization, firmament establishment. And I look at the way that, again, the world targets her. And I'm saying it like that because, again, broken up into pieces is all of us, really. But I had to look at the situation of how I'm feeling from my view, right? It's like a kaleidoscope. And it's just like, you know, sitting in a certain type of energy. I'm just able to tap into energy from like beyond, it feels. And I feel like, although I feel like the world is watching, I just don't know if they know or if we know what we're actually looking at. Because if someone comes with a somewhat natural healing energy or glow or way or just back to basics way of seeing things, it seems like, when you talk about these things, childbearing, all these things like this, is people look at you like it's like caveman mentality. It's just foreign to people because we're so busy trying to go to the next and the next and the next, not realizing that, again, over time, what that type of energy has done to the earth. And I look at it now as just feeling like sometimes, like, all of that energy, right? All of these systems and corporations and all these things that don't really care about us, or, again, let's just say the earth in general. It's about mass production and cattle or chattel and property, and and owners. It's just about, I just don't know. And I feel like, yeah, people have to survive, but are we even, is that what we're doing? With the way that, the materialistic way that everything is set up these days. And it's also like creating just more and more and more waste and more production and more um, unnecessary accumulation. you know and we like to point the finger. Again, most of the time we point the finger at ourselves or the little man, when really, if there was not that many things being needed or wanted, then there would not be as much production, and then there would not be as much accumulation, and then again we would be forced to go back to a time when we knew how to be self-sufficient and relying on the earth or nature instead of these other odd ways of living and being. And it just reminds me of something like a plastic way, a fake faux way. We're always going, trying to find the next. So again, going through whatever process, I feel like I'm a dinosaur when it comes with the way that I think the world should be working. So when it comes to like feeling like somehow, I feel like there's this energy where, yes, there's been growth. Yes, I feel like there's been a push to, you know, try to get, in a sense, I feel like, and I'm just talking from my own experience in things, uh, a way to force someone into a sense of conformity when it comes to even thinking of God, right? You know, as a male, entity or masculine energy, and looking at I feel like the energy that, I feel like can sense from just like humanity as a whole, and then from, you know, women, and just the ugly, bitter, and like I tell you guys with that world card. Even we looking here at this image here, there's a circle where she's in this thing. It's like almost in a jar or in some kind of constrained something, and what she wants to be is free. You know, it's like all of that energy, all of the what it would feel like would be some form of like embarrassment, um, a sense of um, ridicule, a sense of, hate or uh, envy or, just vile. It's like it's kind of like a whole vile, and everybody is just like trying to push it, like, oh, keep going, you're doing like Mother Earth or like that energy needs that from any of you. And it's like you have the audacity, you know it's almost like you have the audacity, and we're looking at all these things and we're hustling and we're creating and we're doing more and more and more material, you know what I'm saying? And are we even really paying attention to all of the catastrophes, that's going on this plane? 180,000 acres of land burning and earthquakes, and not like these things have not been already happening again, but I just think it's coming to a boiling point. We talk about like climate change and global warming, and we're not realizing that that negative energy and that energy, that condescending energy or whatever it is that people are sending out, you know it's being, and I know it's like, okay, I had a phone call, so I'm trying to get back on track. And I know it feels almost like it's a punishment or a reprimanding from, again, male gods, and uh, religion and science and all these things, that have been watching and been able to actually view from a different point of view the earth as a being or a so-called planet or as land. Yeah. And again, it'll seem as though at the end of it, it's still gonna, no matter what, it's still gonna be blamed on the destruction. Will be blamed on the mother, not the very people that thought that they could play the energy that was here, the source that was here prior to any of these gods with the little g. It's just very random because I'm just sensing and feeling these things as I go through the motions and as I look around and I see all the writings and all the science and all the scientists and all the books and all the tech and all the information and it's getting us further and further and further and further away from that what is true, real, and pure. And it's almost like, again, in my instance, whatever I have done that people would think that I would deserve some type of treatment or something was to free people from a certain mindset to be able to see. Just being someone without a college degree and all these things, just sensing these things, just being, like I said, I'm not trying to rub it in when I'm talking about being like a homemaker or at home mom or whatever for, a long, for the past 20 something years, and just being able to observe, without, and that's why I look up to, again, single mothers because it's just like not having to worry about those things. Those things are luxuries and so-called blessings that to not have to worry and, you know, about certain things that, I feel like, so many people that are raising children on their own and being blamed again for the way those children turn out if it's negative instead of, it being like the mother is usually blamed for how the child turns out, not the father that left them behind. And it's just like so backwards to me. And instead of uplifting and uniting, and again, using our differences in order to build a better I guess, I don't know. Or just balance, you know? I just wondered, do people realize what they're doing? And that the energy that you're giving off and the energy that you're directing towards, and again, almost like again, treating the earth as if it is some type of object that you can manipulate and, try to form into something, and I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's an energy or a presence where, again, the earth has manifested, or she has created. I just feel like at one point in time, I felt like during this journey or whatever, I felt, excuse me, like so alone that it felt like, but kind of like to the point where, oh, I know what's up. So it's kind of like, I feel like at one point in time, you know, there had been a manifestation of a son that would come, and almost like an only begotten son. Like I had all girls. I didn't ever have a son, but I always wanted a boy. And even when I tried one last time, I got a girl. But even then, the world found a way to, I feel, make it so that they would also contaminate that connection as if they want to stop at nothing to hang her out to dry. Or force their ideas or their ways onto her as if her ways were wrong. And we all have something. I'm talking in like almost a third party instance because again, I'm just talking about energy and just feeling and sensing right now. Being able to quiet down and just not even think about anything but healing. I think it's a very powerful thing. I think it's a very powerful thing. It could be looked at as, you know, lazy or anything like this, but again, I feel like somebody like me is just like, and I think it's a lot of other, individuals out there that may be very creative, have a lot of ideas, maybe even have had a lot of ideas, and a lot of people, notice that over time. But I think that what has happened is someone has felt like they have gotten everything that they need. And so again, it's okay to turn our back on nature or the mother. It's I don't know, it's just really sad to me. When again, the earth or nature is never going to really totally submit and conform to what these people are. We're going to push so hard and keep sending that energy that I don't even know how to describe or explain. And I think that, again, what will it be? And it's almost like now there's a sense of, even if it's just the energy of a son. And I'm just talking like this, just try to explain myself the best as I can. Now challenging the father that is, not like in a warlike thing, but just challenging something and saying, you know, how about something else, or we do it another way? When I feel like all this time, when we look at it in a sense of the religious aspect, some of these gods have had ample amount of time to change things, but it's not, again, on a priority list. And it's not on the priority list of anyone, actually. People give off the impression or the perception that, oh, the earth, we want to heal, let's stop eating meat, let's do. Well, we're trying to think about everything else that we can do in the world to heal the earth than what we really need to do. Are you really coming? Is it just a fad, or are we really coming from a core sense of the soul? Or, you know, I, I just wonder sometimes. Is it really, or is it just something that looks like? Are we just getting the perception again that that's what it is? But I feel like, nature is going to take its course. Again, they say honor thy mother and father. Well, I look at nature as the mother, you know. We've been listening to the Father for a very long time. And if we haven't, then again, his voice has been silenced as well, because the children have been manipulated, and therefore your minds have been contaminated in a sense. Our hearts, everything, mind, body, and soul. And I don't know. We take time to do everything else. I just wonder if we have even just taken time to just everybody slow down, for everything to stop one day, for us to really sit down one day, even if it's just by yourself or with your family, whatever it would be, to just sit down one day. The world to stop one day. And it almost seemed like it should be more than one day. I mean, shut down. Because it's going to take us a day to even wean ourselves or realize or just be all so upset about the fact that we don't have certain luxuries and technology and these things that we have all the time. Just, it's going to take you a day just to be pissed off about that, just to get over the withdrawal from not having it. So I would think it would have to be more than a day. But I'm just saying, like, and I know we say things like this, like, oh, put it down or whatever. It's hard. It's hard. But could you imagine an abrupt stop? I think about like how the sun, uh, died for 3 days or whatever. So like a 3 day thing. I just wonder if we will be able to see. But the good thing, I guess, yes, about all those stones being thrown is that they can be, picked up and properly used. Because I was even thinking about a verse in the biblical text about the flimsy walls that were put up and were going to be torn down. And I don't even know if this is going to make any type of sense to anyone, but I just feel there's always a time to heal. And, but we have to realize, I guess, what the conditions really are, the raw, uncut truth. And just the, have we ever sat there and really thought about what if, like how we say that there will be a God living and walking, living God on earth one day, or he was going to come down one day. I mean, could you imagine if Mother Earth came up for a time? Or she had always been here, but she woke up from the spell that humanity and science and things have put on her all this time. Religion and education. Could you imagine being coming her? She's been here all the time, going from earthen vessel or vessel to vessel. But could you imagine her waking up and realizing and rising? And once she did, the uh, certain individuals, including people from beings from out of this world, wanting to put her down or lay her down or put her back in her place so that they can continue to rape and pillage. And to all, could you imagine to also then take and turn her children? In some instances, she's giving energy and power to intensify to some of her children in order to help heal themselves and others, and they use it to and someone finds a way. I'm not even giving no names like Satan and nothing like that, no. And so someone finds a way, or someone's, or a certain just mindset or energy or a way finds a way to even turn that which she is slowly creating to heal the earth, to heal herself and her children and others, to again harm her, hurt her to the core. In her sensitive nature, with the rough crust or exterior, because of the blows that have been dealt. Throughout, well, y'all say billions of years, and over again. And she says the buck stops here. So you have these individuals and their techniques that have been waiting and watching and monitoring and stalking and over and. She's like, wow. So again, like the whole weight of the world on her shoulders, and it's intensified, it's and then some. With the mother, she's dealing with the heavens, the earth, and the underworld, and the underworld. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if there's any rhyme or reason to what I'm talking about. I just felt it was necessary because it's just, mm, but it's coming to a numbing point, a nonchalant point, a kind of sense of a hardening point, a halting point to, I don't know. They talk about this weapon of mass destruction, that one, this, that, and that. And I just think that they just haven't even considered the one that's natural. And it's just like not even a threat. It's just like I feel this like intensity or something. It's just something. An abrupt something. And it's almost like as if, you know, you can feel like, you know how like in war, like they give us these images like in World War II and stuff of, I mean, well, just I guess any war, y'all, okay, but it just seemed like it's different, you know, when it comes to war now, um, of the people in like Vietnam and them crawling through the jungle, you know what I'm saying, and you know it just feels like that sense of that they're just lurking and getting closer and closer, you know, and it's almost just like a sense of like, you know, there is a God there, like there's gods, right? But there's a male energy there, and it's almost like, yeah, once you do this, then yeah, or I will let up. And again, it feels like she just is just not willing to comply this time. She's been battered down and manipulated and, you know, uh, submissive for a very long time. And what has that gotten? So again, is she taking time to heal herself? Is she forced to have to do it herself? Because it's always been his way or the highway. This and then I will heal you. This and I will free you. And it feels like she is figuring out a way or has figured out a way to do it herself. And it feels like some people are not happy about that. We're talking in the literal, symbolic, physical, allegorical, talking in parallel type of way. It's like without the formula, that type of healing that comes without the formula base that they've given us, that is their way of seeing how we would be happy or healed or whatnot. No, you can gain all that stuff without having really much. You can gain some of that stuff and they can make it seem like it's not what it is. With a minimalist almost attitude or ways, you know? Nobody wants to see that, I don't think. Being resourceful and using things that you have, you know. I was laughing the other day because I had made some spaghetti and then I had a little bit of the sauce left over, and then I went ahead and made and I told my daughter, I said, "Oh, you wanted some of this rigetti." Okay, maybe y'all don't think it's funny, but you know, spaghetti made again. Okay, I'll stop. But I don't know. And that's the thing. I don't like. I'm not even claiming to be knowing much. But again, do these people even know anything, or are they just telling us what they want us to hear? You know, bottom line. Bottom line. How much do we know if we can't even heal nations, communities? You know, people. Uh, how much do we really know? Because again, if someone had it and they had the answer or a clue, then wouldn't we just take that model and just run it throughout the world and just start from there? Mm-mm. So many bills and codes and we don't even know, what and how, when, where, what it really is. It's so much. It's just overwhelming. It's just those things are just overwhelming in a sense. It's like simplicity is key, along with unity. At this point, at this very point, it's like nobody, are we really looking for healing? Or are we just really putting band-aids on things like some of these prescription drugs and things that we take? People can eat well and not eat meat and do all these things, and they can still be ugly people. They can still be people that don't, just soulless beings, or people that don't really care deep down, or just, I just see some of the things that are being done is just so, I don't know, where people think it's okay. Certain